Yeah, I just seen the Breakfast Club. Jimmy be popping all that boo. I be seeing Jimmy talking about, we Gucci boo boo. He in the Gucci store. Talking about, we Gucci boo boo. The Black King niggas they was going fuck you up. Jimmy, they was like, Marita Monero.
Jimmy was not a rapper then.
Right.
He was your man, like on the side, like on the side, just he was not a rapper at all.
Right.
So when Ballin' took place, and I'm looking and I'm going, oh, he having a moment. That's the Lloyd Banks. It's Lloyd Banks thing.
The entire rap scene pays heed when 50 Cent issues a warning. Jim Jones is the target of his attention this time. It all began when Jim chose to be shady during an interview, making fun of 50 and casting doubt on his sincerity. Many of these guys are acting tough for the cameras, he remarked. We are aware of who is actually outdoors. The internet erupted over that one sentence. Fans recognized right away who he was referring to since Curtis is 50 Cent. Jackson is a rapper who has made a name for himself by being both successful and street certified. And believe me, 50 doesn't tolerate rudeness. 50 responded in classic 50 style within hours. It was a cold, planned Instagram post that sent shivers down the spine, not a diss tune or a tirade. Some of you better chill before I remind the city what really happened, he wrote. Everyone knew exactly who that was for, even though no names or direct tags were used. The caption, tone, and timing all said, Jim Jones, watch yourself. Comments such as 50 is about to air somebody out, and Jim, better relax before 50 starts dropping, receipts were instantly swamped by fans. If there's one thing about 50 that everyone is aware of, it's that when he says remind the city, it's referring to those actual circumstances that most rappers wish would never surface. 50 is the type of guy that prefers to play chess over checkers. He never speaks aimlessly. Therefore, it's not a joke when he sends a message like that. This is a warning shot.
He wanted that. He was watching them be that, like Mace be that and Cam be that, and looked at, and it was finally, he had one.
Mm-hmm.
And I just looked, and I knew, I just took the shot, Murder, to see, because I wasn't sure he was going to go for it. Mm-hmm. But I was like, we like Jimmy better than you anyway, Cam. Then you got to watch and see how he responds. And then when you see, he like, oh, he really like that. Hey, give me this, get me Jimmy. Yeah, tell him we want him. We want you at the show, Jimmy. Yeah, but that was one of those things I just threw it out and see what. And then when he bit to it, because it was like he was having a moment that not sure that was going to ever happen again at that point. And then he's going, for them, they had records that where, look, I always said it's a certain artist, I go, damn, when is he going to have his moment? Like, fat.
I said, and the warning quickly went viral on blogs, fan accounts, and hip-hop pages. Accounts were constantly sharing it, claiming that 50 had reverted to villainous behavior. Jim was apparently told to calm down by even those close to him because this isn't just another rap feud. It has a backstory. For years, Jim and 50 have been circling one another. From industry politics and street rumors that go well beyond music to ancient disputes against gun conflict, this is where things get crazy, though. This is no longer 2005. 50 is now more than just a rapper. He is a media machine, a TV boss, and a mogul. Millions listen to him when he speaks. Thus, the entire culture was affected by that warning, not just Jim. Damn, 50 got more power now than ever, people said. Jim is still out here talking uncontrollably. Because 50 isn't responding like a rapper, this situation feels different. He is acting like a man who could ruin someone's reputation in a single post. Jim might have assumed it was just another clever remark for the internet. But everything changed when 50 Cent answered. Jokes gave way to what does 50 know? And you can be certain that something significant is about to happen when that question begins to circulate throughout hip-hop.
Recently saw a clip on Instagram where a young kid was comparing you to Nas and saying that you got
that's my young boy
big hits.
He's wild.
Yo, he looked to you. He learned how to wear the BB Simon belt from you. He got his swag. Like, how crazy is that? Because in my era, you know what I'm saying? Nas is like a god.
In my era too. I mean,
So
well,
to be compared,
let me
that young kid out.
he was young and we loved that he loved Jim Jones. I want you to break it down.
Let's break this down. I admired Nas, but remember Nas' first record, The Barbecue, came out when I was in 11th grade.
You have to go back to the origins of this Gunnet versus Dipset antagonism in order to see why this warning struck so deeply. Returning rap was dominated by New York in the early 2000s. Cameron and Dipset were on one side, 50 Cent and Gunnet were on the other. There are two strong movements that represent various parts of the city. Although they were both dominant in their own fields, there was fierce rivalry. And there was always that undercurrent of ego, pride, and hidden antagonism, even though it never escalated into full-fledged war. Being the strongest voice in the group, Jim Jones frequently joined in, constantly attempting to remind people that the vibe of Harlem differed from that of Queens. However, the track record of the 1950s speaks for itself. He overcame shootouts, label disputes, and industry politics to create an empire out of nothing. He didn't have to discuss being authentic. He experienced it. Because everyone knows that 50 earned his stripes, fans have always interpreted Jim's remarks as envy. In the present day, 50 is a multi-millionaire who runs popular shows like Power and BMF and is growing his brand internationally. Jim continues to make news by mentioning other rappers by name in the meanwhile. Because of this, 50's warning felt less like a rapper criticizing another rapper and more like a manager speaking to a worker. It was the know your lane kind of energy.
Nas was my idol when I was young. Like you did, came to dressing, the wordplay, the music, everything. I was a superior Nas fan, period. I'd never take that away from him. But then as I got in the game, you gotta realize that your rivals would be idols, and not to take anything away from that, I developed my own style and my own lane that these kids start to gravitate towards the same way I gravitated towards Nas when I was younger and things like that. It's a whole different generation. We talking about 94, 93, I was in 11th grade. Nigga, it's 2025. There's a big gap there, you know what I mean? And I want people to understand that, so when Shorty's telling people that, yeah, he's 20-some years old, that goes to show the part of the era that he's in, that I came into light and started going crazy, that these kids love me. They don't really know who Nas is. If he's 22, he's born in 03.
Not all of them, some of them though.
You know what I mean? Like,
according to insiders, this post wasn't made at random either. For months, 50 had been subjected to Jim's cunning remarks. Jim has been making fun of too many people from the same tree, including Mace, Cameron, and now 50. And it's getting to him. Online users began referring to him as Harlem's noisy neighbor, claiming that these days he talks more than he raps. Jim's attempt to show something that doesn't require proof is the true issue. He is often reminding people that he is outside and that he is the real Harlem. However, people are not as impressed by that street image in 2025 as they once were. The culture's changed over time. Moves, not words, are the focus now. And that's where the 50's supremacy is evident. Fans noted that 50's warning felt like a flashback, as if the former get rich or die trying 50 had briefly reappeared. People were reminded of why 50's name still evokes terror by the tone, confidence, and mystery. He doesn't argue. He has a tendency to pull files. People were muttering when he remarked, "Remind the city," because everyone knows that people in their 50s have strong ties in New York. Jim remained silent in answer. He didn't go live, publish, or clap back. That said, it all because it's pressure rather than peace when 50 calls you out and you remain silent. Jim is experiencing every aspect of it at the moment.
but I hear the comparisons and then Nick be trying to act funny when it comes. No, I've been spanking a lot of this. I'm talking about the industry. I've been putting on. So let's not get into that where we get into numbers and I gotta show you the statistics of what I've done. You heard to what other people was done. You heard them. If you want to go to the Billboard entries, pull up Nas Billboard entries, then pull up my Billboard entries.
Listen, we can't compare the two. What I'm trying to tell you is
I want to go there.
Hold on.
I want to go down the line now, because now we going down the line. He's a rapper and I'm a rapper.
Listen,
let's go statistically.
It feels great.
No, but I want to go statistically, because when people be like,
I feel the same way. We all feel the same way.
And forget about the numbers. My numbers back up.
Let me step up to the forefront.
The internet began researching these two's past after that warning went viral. At that point, the narrative began to deepen. For years, there have been allegations that 50 and Jim were at odds over things other than music, including street business, unfulfilled deals, and ugly behind-the-scenes partnerships. Everyone assumed that 50 was alluding to something specific when he said, "Remind the city," even though no one ever publicly acknowledged it. Fans began making wild guesses. Some claimed it had to do with historic ties from Harlem Street. Others claimed that it was related to previous label politics during the conflict between 50 and Cameron. When Cam and 50 got into the famous on-air fight on Hot 97 back in the day, Jim was always supporting Cam. Thus, despite the passage of years, the energy persisted. While Jim maintained that tension in interviews, 50 simply went on. And now it seems as though karma has finally caught up. Jim should have left 50's name alone, according to others, especially considering how petty and cunning he can be. Rappers, CEOs, and even millionaires have been made fun of online by this individual. No one is secure. From Ja Rule to Diddy, 50 will continue to expose you until you tap out if he determines that you are a target. Jim could be the next in line if history repeats itself. 50 didn't even need to say much, which is absurd. The industry was rocked by that one post alone. Rappers began to unfollow Jim. Bloggers began uncovering old videos of Jim speaking carelessly. Some of his peers from Harlem even fell silent. Everyone seems to be waiting to see if 50 will have another moment of exposure. And believe me, the internet will go crazy if he does.
Put it like this, Jim. Hey, bro, you been at this thing, but lyrically, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you.
Yeah,
y'all
but look how you
dress.
Look how you dress. You don't even be in the same places I be in. And the things that we listen to.
I can be in the church house. You can't ever Nas lyrics. I don't know who told you that. Now look, y'all know you on that good stuff, but you not seeing Nas. You not seeing Nas, bro. Let's be real.
You got a bunch of 40 and 50-year-olds in their panties because I said I'm better than Nas.
It don't matter.
Look at you. Look at you.
Ain't nobody from Dipset gonna take you over Nas.
Fans became even more skeptical when they saw that 50 had removed that message a few days later. After 50 deletions, something. Which indicates that he's either already working behind the scenes or is preparing something more ambitious. He is renowned for employing quiet as a tactic. That's what separates 50 from the majority of rappers. They converse to gain influence. He makes movements to create impact. Jim hasn't said anything in the interim, but many who know him believe he doesn't care. That's difficult to accept though, because even quiet becomes tense when 50 is involved. These days, every statement, tweet, and podcast is twisted into conjecture. People are anticipating the next shot. The problem is that this is no longer about music. It has to do with pride. Jim Jones established his reputation as a fierce guy and the voice of Harlem. However, the internet is now referring to him as the man who woke up 50 Cent. And that doesn't look good. Because when you wake up at 50, he ruins reputations in addition to making fun of you.
And other things like that.
I've heard you say that.
Since the barbecue and things like that, like he really put the whole dope boy rap, crack hustler, get fresh rap into perspective before anybody else. Before I heard Jay do it, before I heard anybody else, like he changed the cadence of rap into a whole different steam. Like he's the one that broke the camel's back when it came to artists, like to me, when it came to artists like Big Daddy Kane and all these artists that came right before him. Like after Nas came with that, they started to fade out, and then Jay, Fat Joe, like all of these rappers that are spitting about the life that we was really starting to live right now and how it was changing. Like this is, you know what I mean? So that's how I felt about that whole little situation.
Fans became even more skeptical when they saw that 50 had removed that message a few days later. After 50 deletions, something. Which indicates that he's either already working behind the scenes or is preparing something more ambitious. He is renowned for employing quiet as a tactic. That's what separates 50 from the majority of rappers. They converse to gain influence. He makes movements to create impact. Jim hasn't said anything in the interim, but many who know him believe he doesn't care. That's difficult to accept though, because even quiet becomes tense when 50 is involved. These days, every statement, tweet, and podcast is twisted into conjecture. People are anticipating the next shot. The problem is that this is no longer about music. It has to do with pride. Jim Jones established his reputation as a fierce guy in the voice of Harlem. However, the internet is now referring to him as the man who woke up 50 Cent. And that doesn't look good. Because when you wake up at 50, he ruins reputations in addition to making fun of you.
Mats, no nobody else. Me, Jim Jones. Check my track record, then check everybody else's track record. Then go to the billboards and check all my entries, and check all them entries. And like if you want to go to the billboard entries, pull up Nas billboard entries and pull up my billboard entries.
Can we address one thing though?
Go ahead.
Jim Jones has 9 entries in the Billboard 200 with 3 top 10 albums and no number ones, while Nas has 27 entries, 16 top 10 albums, and 6 that have reached number 1 on the Billboard 200.
Right now, 2025, I'm in the game still rapping at a high capacity. If Nas wants to smoke, come in the booth. I will rap circles around.
Jim Jones is rapping at a high capacity right now in 2025. I'm on record as saying I think some of the best music that's been coming out of New York in recent years has been from Jim Jones. I haven't seen Nas in that mode. Nas still makes great music at a high level. I just haven't seen Nas in that, let's get active, getting at each other.
Now that the warning has gone viral, everyone is wondering what comes next. Will 50 actually reveal anything? Or is this only his method of pressuring Jim to give in? The message has been sent in any case. Respect is not something that 50 Cent plays with. Additionally, he made it apparent that some names shouldn't be speaking on his behalf without authorization. You see, 50 is now more than just an artist. He is a worldwide enterprise and a brand. He handles it like a business move each time his name is brought up in some low-level scandal. He will clap back, but he does it in a way that draws attention to himself, advances his endeavors, and maintains his hegemony. That's what sets him apart from Jim. Jim turns tension into issues, but 50 turns it into profit. People began comparing their professions side by side on the internet, and the differences were evident. 50 Cent has been wealthy for 20 years, yet he is still feared, respected, and relevant. Jim Jones has been working hard, but lately, interviews rather than hits have been the source of his greatest moments. Fans claim that this entire incident revealed a more significant truth because of this. While 50 already have it, Jim is seeking approval. The most bizarre aspect is that some fans believe 50's warning wasn't limited to Jim. It applied to the entire industry, like a reminder that he still controls the story whenever he pleases. Even in 2025, a single cryptic sentence from 50 has the power to change the internet for a whole week. That is true power.
Jones went on Fat Joe and Jadakiss's. Oh, look, a topic and a topic.
Yeah.
He went on Fat Joe and Jadakiss's podcast and had a lot to say about some dude on the internet that said Jim Jones is better than Nas and has more Billboard hits than Nas.
It was a young kid. I believe he was like 23 or something, 22, 23. And he was saying that for his generation, his era, they don't look at Nas. And a lot of people took offense to that. I personally did not take offense just because of the kid's age, of the generation.
It's like a sports conversation. Like the numbers are the numbers. But in New York City, with rappers, we don't necessarily go by that.
Yes, Travis Scott is the bigger act, more hits, more numbers, more. But to the rappers, don't nobody give a about what Travis Scott is.
Conversely, Jim's next move was suddenly being watched by the entire world. 50 will unload if he claps back. Should he appear sickly and remain silent? Either way, it's checkmate. People claim that 50 plays chess with meat because of this. He is constantly 3 steps ahead. Celebrities began to weigh in, saying things like, Jim better let that one go, because everyone knows 50 is not the type to forget. He is the kind of person who waits, gathers information, and then strikes at the ideal moment. That's why the 50 Cent warning went viral. It was more than a post. It was a declaration and a reminder that certain rivalries never really die, and that some names still have significance in this game. The message of the 1950s was straightforward: avoid playing with me. I constructed too much to amuse clowns. The entire hip-hop community is currently waiting. Will Jim Jones make an effort to protect his ego? Or will he remain silent until 50 makes a full-fledged expose out of that warning? When 50 says, "I'll remind the city," you may be certain that he is carrying a big object.